ultimately want one thing. We want peace in the Middle East. We're going to get peace in the Middle East. I think it's going to happen very fast. I think it can happen with the right leadership in Washington.
Just a few days before Israel bombed Iran, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth appeared in Congress, and Democratic Congressmember Ro Khanna reminded him that there is a wing of the MAGA movement that opposes war on Iran. This is what Ro Khanna said.
Mr. Secretary, I'm hoping we can start where we may have common ground: no war in Iran. In 2016, President Trump was one of the few people on the Republican stage to have the guts to say that George W. Bush's war in Iraq was an utter disaster. He promised the American people no endless wars. Tucker Carlson has said that thousands of Americans will die if there's a war in Iran. And he is cautioning that currently neocons are trying to get President Trump into a war in Iran. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has said the American people don't want to bomb Iran. Will you today assure the American people and the MAGA movement that you will not bomb Iran unless we are hit?
Congressman, it's good to hear you quoting conservatives.
When they're right, I quote them.
And Pete Hegseth did not give Ro Khanna that assurance, but those voices that Ro Khanna mentioned there, Curt Mills, I mean, talk to us about the split to the extent that it still exists now in the aftermath of Israel bombing Iran. But within the MAGA movement, you had people forcefully lobbying Trump to not support an Israeli attack on Iran, people like Tucker Carlson. They failed. And Trump seems to have gone with the neocon voices who wanted him to back Israel to the hilt. But talk to us about the debate that has been unfolding.
Yeah, I think it's been a real debate. I mean, there was a ton of luminaries that lobbied against it. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is ostensibly a backbench congresswoman, but she's probably one of the most famous people in Washington. Other major MAGA voices closely associated with both the president and the vice president have been lobbying against this thing. Charlie Kirk, Mike Cernovich, Jack Posobiec. I appeared with Congressman Greene on Steve Bannon's show hours before the strike. It was certainly a venue that was net hostile to the action. So this was all very, very real, and there was a lot of opposition. And at the end of the day, at least on this action, Trump went with the Netanyahu government, and a lot of voices from the party that usually don't support him that much, or didn't historically support him that much, is sort of more of a Bush wing kind of approach to things. And it is what it is. I'm not going to deny up is down. So I'm not going to tell you up is down. I'm not going to deny gravity here. But yeah, that's the fight. And I think in general, I think the party has rapidly shifted. I think the this administration is very different. I think it's a lot younger. I think basically the under 50 staffers in the administration are either mum or don't believe in this affair. But at the end of the day, there's one commander in chief and there's one decision maker, and he went where he was. He reacted to this in the way that he was going to react on this. I don't think we have all of the details, but I do think we don't have an established narrative that this was, hook, line, and sinker driven by Washington. I think it's clear that the Israelis wanted to play spoiler on the Iran negotiations, and so far they have succeeded. The Iran negotiations are not over yet, so far as we know, but we'll see if the Iranians walk back to the table or if Washington's at all serious about resuming them.
Well, we disagree there. It looks to me like Trump was in on this fully, and it goes against what he promised on the campaign trail. I mean, this is him back in October 2024, just before the election.
We'll ultimately want one thing. We want peace in the Middle East. We're going to get peace in the Middle East. I think it's going to happen very fast. I think it can happen with the right leadership in Washington.
He exploited the fact that the Biden administration was fueling a genocide in Gaza, and he promised peace in the Middle East. But now you have a war between Israel and Iran. And Curt, my last question to you, I mean, do you think, I understand that you're not convinced that Trump was fully in on this, but if it's even more confirmed than it already is, that he was, do you think Trump will suffer any political consequences from the part of the MAGA movement that bought into his claim about no more wars?
You cut out a little bit, but I assume your question is like, will Trump, if like, he goes whole hog on this and it's established that there was some sort of causality here, which I don't think has been established. Yeah, I think if Trump makes his presidency about an Iran war, he will trick major support. I don't think it's. I think Americans vote on foreign policy more than foreign policy alleged experts say. I don't think this is something that will immediately destroy a presidency. But a lot of young people in the party are going to be very disappointed by this. And then additionally, I think spiritual hypocrisy matters. And I think people know that Trump ran as an anti-war candidate. And if we're escalating in Russia, Ukraine, and we're escalating in the Middle East, I think that makes his margin for error politically a lot smaller. The only thing I would say is both the virtue and the vice of the Trump approach to things is that things change very rapidly. So, 30 days ago, Trump's trip to the Middle East greatly disappointed the Israeli right. He didn't visit Israel. His Secretary of Defense pulled a trip there right before. Might have been related, might not have been. He appeared in Saudi, UAE, and Qatar. He sort of, all of whom support the Iran negotiations. The Saudis were very extraordinarily denunciatory, frankly, of the strikes today, given the historic arch rivalry between Saudi and Iran. And so, this contingent that is so buoyant and jubilant today, was on its back 30 days ago. And if we're going to have this conversation in July or August, it could well be a role reversal again. So, again, that's the Trump approach to things. And I just think it's important to take it a day at a time.
Well, we disagree here. I mean, I see Trump completely betraying everything he talked about on his trip to Saudi Arabia. He railed against neocons and interventionists, and suggested he was, undergoing some big shift in U.S. foreign policy. But what's happening right now? Israel, which I don't think could act without U.S. support, has bombed Iran, and now we have an all-out war. I hope you're right, though. I do hope that the part of Trump that promised to end the wars and broker peace, I hope he reemerges, but we'll have to disagree for now on whether that is guiding him or not. But Curt Mills, I really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us. Curt Mills, executive editor of the American Conservative. Thank you, Curt.
Come see us on tour in Glasgow, Manchester, Belfast, Dublin, Liverpool, Birmingham, and London. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.